The tariffs are coming. Don't make these 5 costly mistakes on your new build or home remodel. So here we are. We're coming up on this tariff situation. That's going to bring some instability to this market. And so I'm going to give you 5 tips to counteract the 5 mistakes that will probably cost you money during the tariffs. Mistake number 1 is trying to wait it out. We had lots of clients during COVID who thought, yeah, I'll just wait it out and prices will go back down and I will be able to save money. And guess what? That never happened. Okay, so before COVID, I'm going to give you an example. Sheathing, which we use for flooring, we use for roofs, and we use for exterior walls whenever we're building. A very common item for us. Before COVID, $17-ish a sheet. During COVID, it rose to as much as $90 a sheet. In fact, in some parts of the country, they saw a 600% increase in the cost of that material. And post-COVID, guess where we're at now? We have been hovering for the last year and a half at $34 to $40 a sheet. So we've never seen that $17 a sheet price come back. Yes, $34 is a lot better than $90, but it's still not as good as $17. And, we're probably never going to see that come back again. So trying to wait it out, not a good strategy in these situations because we are just going to see prices continue to go up. And even if we avoid the tariffs, just standard inflation, we're going to continue to see prices go up. So tip number 1, don't try and wait it out. Mistake number 2, failing to plan. So whenever it comes to building anything, planning, pre-planning is very, very important. And whenever it comes to saving money, it's even more important. So the way that we cost a job is we sit down, we look at the job, the scope of work, and we say, hey, what are we going to need to get this job done? And we calculate all the way down to the nail, the screw, the caulk, tube of caulk, all of it. And we say, okay, let's say to do this addition, it's going to be $100,000 in materials, and here's our materials list. That gives us the opportunity to do this really cool thing called warehousing. And basically what that is as soon as our clients have signed a contract, even if they're not ready to build for 3 months, we go ahead and order all those materials, bring them in and warehouse them. And that allows us to build a house even 4 months from now at today's prices. So you can do the same thing. You can get your tile, your supplies, your flooring, all of that kind of stuff, bring it in, set it in your garage and leave it sit there until you are ready to do your project. It's going to save you a lot of money. So again, warehouse and plan well, and that's going to save you money. All right, mistake number 3, cutting costs in the wrong places. There are some things that whenever you are remodeling or building, you do not want to cut corners on. It's just not worth it. And I will give you a great example. You see behind me a hardware tower. That's a display tower that has all kinds of cabinet pulls and handles and even has some appliance pulls on it. These are not inexpensive. Okay, these are not $2 like you can find on Amazon. And you can find some on Amazon for $2 all day long. Now, I myself have purchased those $2 pulls for flipping projects in the past. And I can tell you that whenever they show up at your door, you say, oh, this is cheap. I mean, cheap. Like sometimes they're even plastic. Now, do they look good in the pictures? Yep, sure do. Couldn't tell from the pictures. Do they function? Yeah, for a little while they do. How are they going to hold out over time? How many times a day, a week, a month do you open your kitchen drawer that has your silverware in it, your cabinet that has your cups in it? How many times do you open your refrigerator, right? All of those things are high use things. Your flooring, how many times do you walk across the floor? Well, whenever you're using things at a high volume like that, why would you want to buy the cheapest thing you can possibly get to try and save money? Because over the course of time, it's just going to wear out faster. It's not going to hold up. You're not going to be happy with it. And in 2 or 3 years, you're going to have to replace it all anyway. By that time, even the cheap stuff has gone up in price. And now you will have spent as much money as you would have spent if you would have just gotten the higher quality stuff to begin with. I could do a whole video on bait and switch on materials as far as big box stores versus manufacturers versus, all those kind of things. And if you all would like me to do that, just leave a comment and I'd be happy to. It's eye-opening. But I can tell you this, if you're doing it yourself, look for better quality products, which you're most likely not going to find at big box stores. And if you're using a contractor, ask them, why are you choosing this product for me? Why are you suggesting I use this tile? I see that this tile is $4 a foot. I saw something similar at Home Depot for $1 a foot. Why are you charging me and recommending the more expensive one? And your contractor will explain it to you. And they probably will have some real good examples, because we all do. We all have had clients who have just insisted on trying to cut costs by going with cheap materials, and it never, ever, ever works out. So that's tip number 3. Do not try and cut costs in the wrong areas. Mistake number 4 is failing to consider value in your project. Value is defined as the worth of something. So in this case, what is your project worth after it's finished? Now, I can guarantee you that if your project is done by Bob, the handyman with a truck and probably no license, but he's doing it for you really cheap, your final outcome is not going to be the same as it is if you go with a licensed contractor who's been doing this for a long time, who does use the quality products and all of that kind of stuff. You have to consider the long-term value. Do not shortcut. Do not try and find the lowest bidder. And even if you're going to do things yourself, which I am all about do-it-yourselfer, that's actually how I got into construction 20 plus years ago. Make sure that you are doing things the correct way. Do it according to code. If you don't know how to do it, find somebody and ask them. And make sure that you are using the highest quality materials that you can afford. That is going to ensure that you have long-term success. And that's what we're after here. So again, tip number 4, don't fail to take into account the long-term value of your project. All right, we're heading to home plate now. And this is mistake number 5 that I see folks make whenever the economy gets a little sketchy. And that is ignoring the eventual payoff. I happen to also be a realtor. I was first licensed in Las Vegas in 2014. So about 11 years I've been in real estate. And I can tell you that real estate over time continues to go up in value. Now, do we have peaks and valleys? We do have peaks and valleys. But all you have to do is take a look at any large metropolitan area or the entire state of California. And you look at homes that 50 years ago were $300,000 and now they sell for $1 million. Same house, folks, same house, same location. Even though we had those peaks and valleys, over time, it continues to go up. And that's probably the way it's going to be for the long-term foreseeable future, because historically, that's the way it's been pretty much since the country was founded. So even though things may get a little crazy and the stock market may dip and we may see some rise in prices and some overall instability, your biggest asset is probably always going to be your home. And over time, it's going to continue to go up in value. So don't be afraid to spend the money to make your home a comfortable, happy place for you. And if things aren't working, if your, bathroom is a mess, or your kitchen doesn't function well, or you're out of space and you need to add on, don't hold out for that. Because the money that you put in today, as long as you're going to be there, 5 years or more, there's a good chance that not only will you get that money back out, but probably you will make some money on top of it. In fact, kitchens and baths tend to bring in 60 to 80% back whenever you go to sell. So you spend $100,000 on a new kitchen, chances are whenever you go to sell, it's going to add as much as $80,000 to the value of your home. So it's kind of a win-win whenever it comes to those things. And you don't have to worry about the crazy instability. Now my stock portfolio is worth $1 million. Now it's worth $250,000. Like, real estate over time, pretty good chance it's going to continue to go up in value. So that is tip number 5. Don't ignore your eventual payoff. All right. I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. You can leave them in the comments. And if you did find it helpful and interesting, please like and subscribe and share us out, because we are trying to grow our channel, and that's very, very helpful. So I thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.